Spurs midfielder. Frustration from the Spurs players, but at first glance, first watch, it looked like a clear foul. Dives in Paulinho. Makes contact with Yarmouk before the ball, makes no contact with the ball. Dangerous foul to give away in that position. Brentford an opportunity now, a free kick. Too central, but a good distance away. So the two number sixes on the pitch, booked within about 60 seconds of each other, Jordan Henderson and João Paulinho. Here to see the Thiago incident again, shouldered Romero. Gets nothing of the ball, Romero. Completely misses the ball and takes down Thiago. Some will think fortunate. Necessarily in full view of the referee, but certainly in full vision of the assistant referee. Much of the annoyance, I think, of the Brentford camp, because there were more than a couple of members of Keith Andrews' staff leaping around. Cario tried to get that yellow wall in place. Two closest members to the ball are Jordan Henderson and Keane Lewis-Potter for Brentford. Henderson is the one taking the decisive steps backwards. Spurs with the five-man wall in place, just beyond the hour. And awaiting our London derby breakthrough. It's Lewis-Potter, it's off that Spurs wall. And behind for a Brentford corner. Struck it well, Lewis-Potter. Good defensive wall from Tottenham. Stayed together, stayed linked and jumped. This was laid down behind the wall. Allowed them to link arms and jump, make themselves big. Good defensive wall. Sounds of encouragement coming from the GTEC Community Stadium stands. I'm not too sure what the issue for Romero is here. He just maybe made the block. Yeah, I think he just realised that he might have to go off the field to play while they're defending the corner if he does take treatment. He's going to want to be present for this Brentford corner, Christian Romero. Spurs will want him to be in there as well. Richarlison on the end of it. How often do we see that from Richarlison in those defensive positions? He's the one watching them before the game and watching them practice the set plays. He's the one who stays free. He's the one that's given licence to go and head the ball wherever it is in the box. That's why we quite often see Richarlison making the clearance. Spurs started the second half well, but now they're up against it again. Yarmouk. Henderson. Yanels! And Vicario pushes it away. Not the most orthodox save from the Spurs goalkeeper, but still enough to deliver him for the opening goal. Spurs trying to get forward with there. Jordan Henderson. I think that's a really good chance that Brentford have missed. Some history in this fixture as well, Vitaly Yanel. He's scored for both teams in this game before. Goal for Brentford in 2022 and an own goal for Spurs last season. And Kolo Muani being prepared by Tottenham. That will be the first change for either tonight. Thiago, Lewis-Potter can't take it with him. A couple of nearly moments in positions like that, Brentford. Flicks the finesse, not quite there. Schade. Henderson. Coyote took it well. Allowed him to keep moving with it. Here's King Lewis-Potter, back to Coyote.
Now Aya. Coyote's delivery behind Eagle Thiago and out of the reach of Sharda. Retrieved again by Henry. Headed away decisively by Romero. With the offside flag, Spurs can breathe. They're recycling the ball well again. Brentford, more like what they were doing in the first half. Winning the ball back in and around the Spurs 18-yard box. Putting the ball back in has got another chance to look at this Yanda challenge. Great ball in. Really good ball in from Jordan Henderson. And Yala's got to do better than that. Vicario makes it look a lot more difficult than it was. The Tottenham goalkeeper is a very easy save for Vicario. Still a save he had to make, but a very comfortable one. That's a chance gone missing for Brentford. Really good chance. 100th Tottenham appearance tonight. Guillermo Vicario, 26 clean sheets in his 99 that have gone before. So here comes that Spurs change then, and direct replacement for Wilson Alderweireld on the left-hand side is Kolo Muani. We're still waiting for a Premier League goal in Spurs colours. I think he's had a tough start to his Tottenham career, hasn't he? He was excited when they brought him in. He looks a really good, top-class player. Actually, with his injuries, the injuries that he's had to play through, playing with, he's never really had a run of games as yet. Still to see the best of him if he is to achieve that at Tottenham. 12th Premier League appearance today for Kolo Muani. Played well against PSG though, didn't he, in the Champions League? Did. Scored 2 against them, the only 2 goals that he's got for Tottenham. Of course they come against his parent club. He's the one taking the quick free kick. Bentancur. Here's Spence. Alinia. Bentancur. Must have been by the barest of margins. Aliania's not played the pass that he wanted to, and Sharda gets the one back that he does want from Eagle Thiago, who's the only one up there continuing his run. Porro on the retreat rescues the situation for Spurs. Have all their creative sorts available at the moment, do they? Tottenham long-term injuries to James Maddison and Dejan Kulusevski, who is closer to returning. And of course, Xavi Simon's missing again tonight because of suspension, just when it felt like his Spurs career was warming up.
I think people forget as well the amount of players that Thomas Frank has got missing as well. You know, Doggy's not there tonight, Solanke again, a long-term injury. Papsai, Basuma at AFCON.
Coyote's delivery. With the clarity to clear. Coyote again. Trying to burst past Jed Spence, who had it and then lost it. Eagle Thiago's put it over the bar. Well, Brentford's trashing in a chance from nothing, really. Their leading scorer. Able to take the latest opportunity.
Looked like he thwarted the initial danger. Jed Spence with that piece of defending there. And he just switches off and allows Coyote back onto the ball. Pulls it back for Thiago. And then for Thiago, you would fancy him to at least have hit the target from there. A good set to him. And closed down by Romero. They were disappointed he's at least not tested the Tottenham goalkeeper.
So the Baron run goes on, no goals in his last 5 prior to tonight. And actually, excluding this game, 5 shots in those 5 games for Eagle Thiago. Yellow card for Vicario for time wasted.
It's been coming. He's had 2 or 3 warnings off the referee. See, that's part of Tottenham's play in this second half, slowing the goal kicks down. Interesting the referee's booked in this early because it'll take a brave referee to give 2 yellows for time waste and send the goalkeeper off. Never seen it yet.
Spence has his run halted. Henderson has it for Brentford. Made by Van der Ven. The legs of Coyote without too much control, and then Kudus with some power wins it for Spurs. There's Kolo Muani on the front foot for the first time since coming on. Coyote dealt with it and then lost his balance. And I think the ball's just crept over the line before Moani's cross, indeed a goal kick. I think that passage of play right there pretty much sums up the game this evening. Very disjointed. Everyone's struggling to kind of put any type of rhythm together. Moani, Coyote, Henry ends up defending quite well the situation. Moani unable to make anything of it. Narrow with a typically robust challenge, and the ball coming off the legs of Eagle Thiago. Well, the win here for Spurs in February of last season, one of the last actually in the Premier League for Ange Postecoglou at the club. Only 3 more league wins followed in the 3 months after that. He's been talking this week about working day and night to try to improve the team, improve the club. But Thiago showing his muscle again to watch Van der Ven out the way and Bentancur cleaning up the Spurs. Only getting it back though. Moani was caught on his heels there. Coyote, Henderson. Secretary defending from Van der Ven. Strength from Van der Ven. Positional sense, positional awareness, knows where he is in relation to the goal line. Knows he's got the beat to the Jordan Henderson. Stands his ground. Former club Liverpool drawing 0-0 with Leeds United earlier in the Premier League. Crystal Palace and Fulham sharing a 1-1 draw at Selhurst Park as well. Dominic Calvert-Lewin having a late goal, a late potential winner ruled out for offside. Would have been 7 and 7 for an incredible run of form he's in at the moment. Such a form that Eagle Thiago was experiencing only a couple of months ago. Some annoyance from Chris Maguire that's gone behind for a corner after the goal kick. That's not what he intended. So, this corner conundrum that we wondered whether would play out tonight, it's proved to be a decent weapon this season for Spurs. They've scored from 9 corners in the Premier League this season, but Brentford haven't conceded from a single one in any of their last 17 games. So which way does the dial turn here? You can see it's a packed 6-yard area. Boy, the Tottenham have got Pedro Porro's got fantastic delivery. I guarantee this is getting whipped right under the goalkeeper's crossbar with pace. 6 Spurs players inside that Brentford 6-yard box. And that's where the ball from Porro is going. The win by Collins. Kudus trying to clear it through the crowd. Then going back to Porro. He's whipped it too close to Gallagher. If something is going to divide these two in the final 15 minutes, Paul Robinson, what is it going to be? I think it's going to be the team who obviously wants to go and win the game, because at the moment I think we're seeing 2 teams, we're entering a territory now who don't want to lose the game. A point becomes a lot more valuable the longer that the game goes. You don't want to be the team to lose all 3 points. And I think when you're in a run of form like Brentford are, another home game without defeat isn't a bad result. And a point on the road for Tottenham isn't a bad result. So we're going to see 2 teams now who's actually got the courage to go on forward and take an opportunity, create, and try and win this game. Already on a booking. Catching Pete Lewis Potter. We are creeping now to critical point in this game, the final 15. Ione. Henderson screaming for it, getting it, crossing it. Bentancur and then Spence doing the job for Spurs. Been a nuisance enough to Porro that it made him take his eye off it. Henry's ball. Romero's clearance, corner.
And a mismatch there with Sharda. Pedro Porro. Sharda jumps in front of Porro, puts him off, causes him a problem. Brentford so managed to get themselves a corner.
They are the only team in the Premier League who have not scored from a corner this season, Brentford. New year, new me and all of that.
Well, he told me that Keith Andrews was their set play coach. So maybe he's handed that duty on to somebody else. He's too busy these days.
It's very possible. Jordan Henderson, a bit of a master from a corner and a masterful ball as well, which caused brief panic. Gallagher, all of a sudden the playmaker. Started again for Brentford. Sharda. Thiago lunging towards it. Van der Ven got there. Romero, but he's loose with his ball clear. Sharda. Romero giving away the free kick by going through the back of Lewis Potter.
Clumsy, Christian Romero in that type of area. You can see the frustration from Romero in the second half. Sharda ball into Potter. He's not going anywhere. He's got his back to goal. He's looking for help. He's looking for support. Clumsy and unnecessary from Romero.
Big Brentford chance in this second half from one of those who has stood over this free kick, that header from Vitaly Janel. Henderson with the ball in, and Vicario with a, for him, routine claim.
Waste again for Brentford. Good opportunity, free kick in a dangerous position.
For them, from one of those runs, Spence is showing some pace too to get there. To Ben. Bentancur, there are changes from both forthcoming. Jensen and Nelson coming on for Brentford, and we're going to see Matthias Tell from the bench for Spurs. Porro. Yarmouk. Henderson. Eagle Thiago. And Ben didn't right to get there really, but he's so quick over a few yards, he was always going to get there.
Brilliant. You will not see a better defender in the Premier League in that situation. His central defensive partner got caught out of the position, out of shape. He's not supposed to be there, but he's got the pace and power to get himself and others out of the situation. Covers ground so quickly, Mickey Van der Ven.
So the Spurs change is João Palhinha off and the young Frenchman Matthias Tell on, who has prior to tonight had less than a half of Premier League football since the start of November. There's no addition to the goal tally tonight for Kevin Sharda. He is one of two Brentford changes, with Yarmouk departing as well. Here comes Jensen and Reece Nelson, who has played in two North London derbies before. Win either of them with Arsenal. but will be more keen than most to have an impact tonight. I think the Brentford substitutions are more like for like. I don't think we'll see a shape change from Brentford. When Tottenham defended this long throw, I'll be interested to see how they line up with Tell, Richarlison and Moani all on the field at the same time. Coyotes shortened. Vicario was struggling under some pressure as he punched that away. He actually dealt with that pretty well, all things considered. He's asking for a foul, and I agree with him. I think it is a foul, and that's without my goalkeeping bias. My goalkeeping card was given up a long time ago in lieu of honesty. I think he gets caught underneath it a little bit. Vicario backing into him, though. There's a foul on the Tottenham goalkeeper, came to nothing. Once you've given the card up, can you ever get it back? I don't know. I highly doubt it. Accurately forward to Eagle Thiago, whose touch was equally immaculate. Strong again from Van der Ven for Spurs. Very attacking lineup now from Tottenham, looking down. Richarlison's over on the left-hand side. Kudus down the middle. Colomboani's come out to his right-hand side. And Mateus Tell taking the position on the left. Almost 4 attacking players. It's Reece Nelson. First few touches for him since coming on for Brentford. Moani with the clearance. Joe Henry. Nelson again, who has really been blighted by injuries since coming in on loan from Arsenal. I'm hoping that 2026 can spark a run of form and a run in the team for him. Here he is again, Nelson. Janelt. For Jensen. Toro. That has the chance to clear. Forward again by Ayer. This case touched by Gray. Another Brentford free kick conceded by Christian Romero. Far too many free kicks conceded from Romero in these type of positions, making challenges that he doesn't need to make. Lewis Potter again, he's got his back to goal, he's turning away, he's looking for help, he's looking for support. He's got none of his teammates around him. It's a tackle and challenge that Christian Romero doesn't need to make. Smidge scruffy in this second half, Romero, and so far it hasn't been costly for Tottenham Hotspur, but that is not to say that it won't be from this. Charlie Janelt stands over the Brentford free kick. Henderson towards Collins, and Vicario has got it. Just for a split second it eked out of his grasp. Nearly drops it onto the top of Nathan Collins' head. It was a difficult one for a goalkeeper. Not necessarily when people jump with you, but stand in the space where you want to jump. That can be just as awkward. Henry initially misjudged the flight of that ball, but was quick enough to beat Colomboani to it. This is Jensen, celebrating his 30th birthday today, by the way. As is Frank Onyeka, actually, with 2 Brentford players who are celebrating birthdays on New Year's Day. And Onyeka obviously away with his national team at the moment at the African Cup of Nations. Neither of these teams are going to be seeing their AFCON representatives in the near future, with Onyeka's Nigeria and Tango Watara of Burkina Faso having both made it to the last 16, as has Pap Sarr and Yves Bissouma with Senegal and Mali respectively. Some challenge by Porro. Jensen's low ball is an interesting one. Henderson. Away by Bentancur then. The Spurs gratefully clobbered back into their possession again. It's a game that's lacked quality. It's lacked quality in the vital areas that failed in the final third, that final pass, the final decision, the final attempt on target, what few that we've actually had on goal. It's two teams. It's been a hard-fought game, but it has lacked quality in the vital areas. And I'm sure that's something that will frustrate Thomas Frank when you look at the plethora of attacking quality that he's got on the field. Fairstell, Richarlison, Kudus, Kolo Muani, all those attacking players, yet they struggle to get the ball forward and create.
There is Kudus. Bentancur turning it in the direction of Porro. Porro in turn, turning over possession. One back again by Bentancur. Kolo Muani. Bentancur. Richarlison was having to try and squeeze himself between a couple of Brentford bodies to get there.
That's a really good piece of defending. Good play by Tottenham. Ball across the 6-yard box. Difficult to defend. The goalkeeper can't come for that. Two Brentford players in the middle there. Ayer, I think it is, who's taken the knock, who got the clearance. A really clever piece of defending. The Norwegian.
Another who is likely to be off representing his country at the World Cup. Christopher Ayer, Norway in the same group as France, so he might be seeing Rando Kolo Muani again. Well, everyone inside this stadium will be hoping that this is not the case, but there is a creeping sensation of this game meandering towards the scoreline that currently exists, 0-0.
Said around the 75th minute mark that you get to a point in a game where 3 points become less valuable than the one that you've got, as both managers would take a point at that stage. So we spoke about Tottenham's good away victory at Crystal Palace, the 1-0 win, and on the back of that performance and victory, 4 points out of those two away games. I'm sure Thomas Frank will be quite pleased with that. Brentford, on the other hand, it's another point in their quest to keep climbing that table where people didn't expect them to be, myself included. I think a lot of people thought they'd be in and around the relegation places this season. It's not been a great game. It's not been a great watch. It's not been a great spectacle, or definitely not one for the purists. But what it actually has been, it's been two teams who have fought extremely hard not to lose a game. And the nearer we get, the nearer the clock ticks to that 90-minute mark, I think we'll see more of that. It's going to take a mistake or a piece of brilliance from somebody to break the deadlock in this game, you feel.
As it stands, Brentford going back to where they began the day, 9th in the Premier League table. So they'll be 3 points behind Chelsea in 5th, which feels like an appropriate benchmark. And for Spurs, they're going to stay in the bottom half. A point behind Brentford in a very congested middle section of that Premier League table. Ayer's had the treatment, so he's going to have to stay off for a little while. Kolo Muani just reaching beyond him with the leg to get something on the ball. Richarlison. Accurate enough for Kudus, which seems to be the story of the night. Stays this way though, this is going to be Spurs' 18th away Premier League point this season. 18 of their 26 on the road.
That's a really good haul. You speak about the point being valuable, and that's where it shows that Tottenham's home form has been far from good enough. And that's where the tens of thousands of Tottenham fans generally tend to turn up and watch them week in and week out, and that's what they see. The nucleus of hardcore support that's tickets are available to travel away from home. Their home performances haven't been where they would want them.
Nathan Collins trying to take up the attacking mantle. Reece Nelson. Still looking for the difference maker in this game. One from Vicario. head on it, now back on the pitch, Coyote.
Now that was long from Bakari, wasn't it? That was old-fashioned football. Goalkeeper putting a ball 90 yards down the field.
Into the final five we go. Is there going to be one piece of definitive quality from someone in red and white or yellow on the pitch?
Looking down at the Brentford bench, Keith Andrews has got one more trick up his sleeve. Sent out Damsgaard to warm up, and he come on for the last 2 or 3 minutes. See if he can influence this game.
Suspense, but Kelly's barely had a touch actually since he's come on, Matthias Tell. And then Romero equal Thiago fancied that one. Those two have been at it all game. That's at least been one enjoyable battle.
Thiago's bided his time, hasn't he? He's just waited for that moment. Two managers at the moment are more entertaining than what's going on the pitch. Very, very animated down beneath us in the technical area.
If it happens from here, it's going to be late and it's going to be great for somebody. Kudus. Tell. Trying to find the space to get past Coyote. Instead it's Spence who crosses. Collins away. And then who has got the mud on the shirt to show proof of an active evening. Tell with a good touch. Spence sent to ground, but not enough for the referee to deem that a foul.
That was a really good tackle by Keith Andrews. We spoke about him offensively, but that was showing his defensive qualities tonight.
Thiago can't chap it. Slightly petite looking now. There's no star on this chilly evening. Charlison. Pushed that away a bit by Collins. Thiago, this one of the positions promised for Brentford. Up against Romero. Might be the final chore between those two. Just get it back on Rico Henry. Over one, he left by Kudus. Richarlison and Keller. Plunging to his left-hand side to ensure that the dose of late Trara.
Opportunity for Richarlison. Not the pace he wanted on the strike.
One of the clearest sights of Brentford's goal in this second half for Spurs. Collins, Reece Nelson, Lewis Potter. She's just going to have some great initiative to Brentford here. Andrews has given the instructions to leave it for Michael Coyote to launch one last long throw into Spurs box.
Well, this is it, isn't it? This is the opportunity for Brentford. We all know where this is going to go. It's just how Tottenham can defend this. And Brentford win the second ball.
Coyote. Forward again by Jensen. On by Ayer. It's Richarlison with a slightly panicked clearance. Kudus trying to get some control, but in the process he's lost it. But how about that for a challenge from Christian Romero?
Criticised him most of the evening for his time of challenges. That was superb.
And down the other end, Richarlison for Spurs. His cross lacks the punch that they needed at the pivotal point. And it does all of a sudden feel a little bit frantic, but is there going to be a winner from somebody? Henderson. Now, rather than minutes, only seconds left. Janels. Stopped by Romero again, who had that leg fully outstretched to stop it from reaching Eagle Thiago. And Thomas Frank's return ends in a goalless draw. And a game of, in truth, very few clear chances for both. Another away point for Spurs, but not the opportunity to build on that win over Crystal Palace. And for Brentford, still they wait for their first ever home win against Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. It has finished on New Year's Day. Brentford 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Well, Thomas Frank able to shackle his former foot soldiers tonight, Paul Robinson. Yeah, I think it's a game that won't live too long in the memory. It's a game that was devoid in quality. I think the way that Thomas Frank set his side up tonight with a deep back line to cater for Igor Thiago's runs in behind down the side. They did that very well defensively. Tottenham, they kept Shard and Thiago and Lewis Potter very quiet to an extent. Starved Brentford of any type of opportunities. But on the other hand, Tottenham going forward, they were bored. They had a lot of attacking quality on the pitch. Richarlison, Odegaard, Kudus, and then Tell. Buani came on, still unable to create. The best chance for Tottenham came in added time. The Richarlison's effort on goal. Both goalkeepers tonight very much underemployed. It was starved of any type of real goalmouth incident. It was a hard-fought game. Both managers will take positives from it. They'll go into the dressing room and say, look, we did this well, we did that well, but we can improve on this. And I think when you take a step back and you look at it, a point for each team, managers will take the positives from it. For Brentford, it's another point at home. For Tottenham, it's another point on the road on the back of the win at Crystal Palace. Not one for the purists, but the managers will pick out the good points. And next for Spurs, Sunderland in North London. And Thomas Frank will be hoping that these 4 away points that they've collected over the past few days will be a platform for his team. Brentford are off to Everton next in the Premier League. But it has been an evening of very few goals in the Premier League. 4 draws, 3 of them 0-0s, including this one here tonight between Brentford and Tottenham Hotspur. It has finished goalless in the London derby.
Humans spend 6 years of their lives waiting. James is waiting to see results. Jenna is waiting to give in. End the waiting game. Felix connects you with a doctor online, so you can get a weight loss treatment plan that's right for you, delivered straight to your door. Felix will see you go.
This is 24/7, 365 Premier League content.
Arsenal, Manchester United and Chelsea away from home. It's a terrifying start.
You cover all the moments that matter. Not just sitting when you win. People saying, oh, you're only sitting when you lose. Every bit of insight and analysis and everything else in between.
It's tantalising. The fans love it. Too early. They want to see you in an Arsenal shirt. That's what they want.
That's what I'm saying, giving you guys a chance. It was getting too easy.
From the greatest league anywhere.
Slightly offside. That right leg is dangling in an offside position. And although he finished it very well, he soon realised that it was getting ruled out.
Super reaction from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but he glanced over his shoulder. He knew it was tight. Okafor's going to keep this in. He's got Calvert-Lewin just inside him. Into stoppage as we go. Stack came off Gravenberch. Second opportunity for Stack, and he was never comfortable all over it.
Yeah, I mean, look at Alisson, absolutely furious that that was allowed in the first place by Liverpool.
Gets away from Okafor. Yakabio cuts it out, and that will be the final action. It finishes 0-0.
nil. For the second time inside a month, Liverpool and Leeds play out a draw in the Premier League. Leeds, who've now taken points from each of their last two visits here to this stadium. This feels a big, important result for them. A more disappointing one for the hosts, of course. It finishes Liverpool 0, Leeds United 0 on New Year's Day.
Forest seeking a first home league win over Everton, and admittedly in that time they've not shared a division too often in just over 30 years. Barry, he's got help from Dibley, who's up against Zinchenko. Patterson eventually arriving on the scene. Irabunam. McNeil. Well, that's an astute pass! And a chance taken by the former Forest favourite, James Garner. And that's why he's not in mood to celebrate. When Everton don't have the ball, he'll sit in front of the defensive back line and be a bit of a defensive screen. But when they have the ball and they keep it, effectively, he will step forward and become an extra auxiliary striker, which is what he does here. The finish is outstanding because he doesn't seem to even look at the target. He knows where the target is. He knows where the far post is. And he just puts his laces through the ball. And arriving with minutes is Hudson-Odoi. Well, because Patterson has tucked in field from right back, then he's reliant on Tyler Dibbling staying close to Hudson-Odoi, and he doesn't do that. That's why the winger is in behind the Everton defence. He just seems a little bit surprised by the ball reaching him. It's always going to come to him. It's a difficult ball coming across your body on the half volley, but he should be doing much better than that. He should be just, punching that back across goal. Well, Zinchenko will go for it. But Pickford fully aware of the situation. It's a long way out, the free kick. Certainly dipping. It's under the crossbar, but the keeper has time to get across. Gibbs White got through the legs of O'Brien, and now he's worked it to Igor Jesus. Well, it was a real mess from Everton for the first time, really, tonight. And Igor Jesus couldn't ultimately take advantage. Jordan Pickford is furious, and he's a right to complain to his defenders because they get themselves in a right mess. There's no way the ball should arrive at Jesus' feet. How on earth he manages to then get a shot in with three blue shirts around him? That's why the Everton goalkeeper is livid. Now a meat and drink for him. Garner back in there. That's threatening! Oh, and a chance goes a begging for Everton. And Tarkovsky holds his head, having put it to such good use for most of the night. I'm amazed that he's missed this. You're right about his heading this evening in his own box. Spins so solid, and all he needs to do is keep this on target. He's ahead of his man. He's onside. Just a solid forehead on this, on target. And it's 2-0 Everton. What a chance. Irabunam has sent Grealish on his way. McNeil! Milenkovic blocked this time. Grealish.
And it's given them a different dimension. Oh, and that whistle's not far away from Ghana.
Just puts his laces through it, doesn't wrap his instep around it. That's why it goes straight, doesn't go wide.
Douglas Luiz, robbed by McNeil. And it's on here for Ghana. Well, I was going to say momentum taken out of it. He's proving everybody wrong. Great ball by Ghana, and Barry takes the chance. Well, Ghana made it. Barry took it. And Everton on the cusp of taking away 3 points.
Gino Barry, he's played the pass to Ghana and he hasn't stood and watched it. He's then broken forward into an advanced position, goal-scoring position. Look at him, head down, sprinting into a forward position, just in case Ghana gets away from his men, and he does. There's a good couple of touches from Barry. He's really struggled for goals at Everton, and he could have got this wrong, could have made a mess of it, just got it out of his feet, and then tucked it home with real composure. It's a brilliant counter-attacking goal. Now, Ghana scored one, created one, and that could be game over.
Zinchenko's delivery. Ghana defended it. What a contribution he's had. Milenkovic up. Awani trying to guide it on. Gibbs White is in there. And Pickford in the way.
The 2 Everton goals have been impressive, but they've defended so well. Their back four, their goalkeeper. I think he's onside, Gibbs White, but Pickford can't get there first, but he just makes sure that the ball doesn't go past him.
Zinchenko. Time running out for Forest. Bakwa up against Merlin Royal. And through Irabunam. Oh, and, well, fractions away. Both from scoring himself and feeding Gibbs White.
Well, it's clearly a shot. I know it's a harsh criticism, but he's done all the hard work. You've got to keep the strike on target. There's no one at the far post. So again, if you keep that on target, you score. It's not a pass for Gibbs White. It's an attempt on goal, and he's put it wide.
A shadow of greatness, many descending into the darkness. Well, a squad stretched, perhaps even beyond the limit for Everton tonight. But in adversity, they have produced a terrific away performance which reinvigorates their hopes for European football. Forest had so much of the ball, so much promise, but so little ultimately in the way of delivery. And the final score reads Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 2.